friends, welcome back. I'm very excited because it's an M. Night day. How often do you get to go see an M. Night film at the cinemas? Maybe once every couple of years now. The last one was old, which I'm not talking about today, but today I'm so excited to see Knock at the Cabin. This is based on a Paul Tremblay book, which I have not read. When we talked about this last in my most anticipated films for this year, my most anticipated horror movies, I asked you guys whether I should read it before or not, and I kind of decided on, and I ran out of time because my good old friend Freddie came to stay with me for a bit. I decided I will read this after I see the movie, because I know that there are big differences. That's the one thing I know about this film. The film is about a family that are vacationing when her parents are taken hostage by strangers who demand the family make a choice. And the tagline for this one is "Save your family or save humanity, make the choice." The film stars Dave Bautista, Ben Outridge, Rupert Grint, and Jonathan Groff, among others. I'm going into this one pretty blind. I've seen part of the teaser trailer. I could not get away from it. And I honestly have my expectations a little bit lowered because someone I know went and saw a cut late last year, and I think it was like a test screening, and he said that people were not that impressed. But this is a good way to go into this film with my expectations lowered, and because I have not read the book, I don't have any preconceived notions of what could happen. I'm just in for that M. Night twist, and there's gotta be one. We need an M. Night twist. So let's go see it. I'm going to the premiere here in Perth, Australia today, and I'll let you know what the film's like without spoiling anything. I'm gonna let you know whether it's worth your time and whether I think that you should go see it this weekend. Let's go. Wow, I have a lot to think about. I just got out of Knock at the Cabin. Honestly, first up, I hate that name for this movie, but I quite enjoyed that. I'm really perplexed. That movie was pretty solid, and there's a lot to think about, which I was not kind of expecting. The whole idea of this movie is it poses a question to the audience, and I truly think how you react to this movie while you're watching it says a lot about you as a human being for many different reasons, for many levels, and it has a frustration that will put its blanket over you, hold you hostage during the viewing, and the tension is there. And it is a frustrating watch, but for a reason, you have to ask yourself while you're watching this, why are you so frustrated? And for me and my partner, we talked about it as we were walking out. There was many reasons, and it was very reflective of us as people. As said, the film stars Dave Bautista, Daddy Bautista. I had to say it. He is so good in this movie, and it's not like I've seen him in a lot of films. He's in everything now, but it's not like I really subscribe to the kind of movies he's usually in, and I really liked this role for him because it played against everything that you think about that kind of character, or you kind of see that character like the big guy do. So I thought it was a really well casted role for him. It also had Rupert Grint in it, who was also in Servant, which is by M. Night, and I would say that this film has a lot of framing that is very reminiscent of Servant. It felt like that close kind of claustrophobic space, although it wasn't as, I know I'm getting to the cinematography already, short focal lens kind of aspect, but it was there. It was closer than we have seen it before for M. Night. But besides Dave Bautista, Kristen Tway, who plays the little girl in this, is fantastic. I just love when they nail child actors. So the film has a really M. Night setup. It's a really good pairing, I would say. I do have some negatives, so just hold on. But it is a really good pairing for M. Night. This way it's structured, and honestly, I'm coming into this from the perspective of someone who has not read the book, and I will read the book. So I think that it kind of works better if I haven't, because I've heard that people absolutely love the book, and I know that it has a very different ending. But it has kind of this structure that we've seen before in M. Night films, especially films like Signs, where we have like flashbacks, and it has, again, poses a really interesting concept and idea, which M. Night tends to gravitate towards. Whether he can pull that off is always up to the audience to decide, and I know a lot of people are on the fence with him. But the film is about a small family who are staying in a cabin in the woods, scary, and these strangers approach their cabin and tell them that they need to make this choice. And I'm going to leave that there. I would say once you kind of know the premise, which I believe is in the trailer, there is like a weird kind of dipping the film does, which I felt was tension building because it really worked for me psychologically. It does require you to really get into the minds of the character. And if you don't feel that, I think that you might dip out a little bit because it is such a simple story, and it's delivered as so. It's also not giving you all of the answers that you require within the middle part of the story, which I think that will affect people. So if you're a person who does not like plot holes, this film, I wouldn't say has plot holes, but it definitely has holes. It's quite ambiguous and quite open for a lot of different ways that things can go. So in saying that, the ending for me, I did not absolutely love. I thought it could go several hundred different ways, and I think for me, that's kind of its downfall, that it couldn't have been like a clear-cut answer no matter how you kind of cut it. For me, not that I need a clear-cut answer, but there was just so much more to explore and to understand. But I do think that the purpose of the film was completed. It was to reflect these different layers within these characters and how you react to that. If you've seen it, you'll understand what I'm saying. It's definitely like a film that challenges the audience. So if you do like everything to be given to you and you don't like to go through the kind of psychological back and forth, you may not enjoy this one. What I really loved about it was the cinematography. Besides, all of the performances were pretty solid. I'm really interested to see what the characters are like in the book. But the cinematography, the framing of everything was just beautiful. I feel like, and as he should, like at this stage of his career, M. Night has it down on how to really build tension with the way he frames things. And it was really interesting seeing him use that blocking within just a small space with all of these different characters. So I really enjoyed seeing that. And I feel like that's kind of where it could dip for some people because it does rely on just this one location. It's not this like pretty, epic movie. It's definitely not like Old was, where it was like this whole scene. I guess that was in one location kind of, but this one doesn't have many different angles they can go with, but I really appreciated what they did. And that's why I feel like it relies so much more on like psychological element or than any atmosphere building kind of tactics. I also thought it was really clever that they used a lot of blue throughout the film because the film is anything but calming, but using blue, it's even the wallpaper is blue. And I thought that was really interesting to kind of paint this sense of calmness in this chaotic situation. I will say M. Night, of course, has his famous cameo, and in this one it's a little bit too on the nose. I thought it was a little bit too bang on. You gotta find a way to cleverly like put yourself into a situation when it's in a remote cabin in the woods, so he did that. Overall, I think that this is a solid psychological, like situational movie. It reminds me of like films like The Invitation in a very different way, but that you're kind of going to one location and there's something off and that is all that's kind of discussed throughout the film. From there's different layers and you can take different things away from this film depending on your perspective. But I do think that this will frustrate audiences completely, and I was frustrated, but I think the frustration is valid and it's probably intentional. It's just what kind of frustration you have that will make you either enjoy the experience or not. I thought the movie was tense, and I really enjoyed how the characters built that. And so I thought it was a really solid film. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. And straight away I thought I would love to see this film again, which is a good sign. But once you kind of know how it ends, I wonder how good the watchability factor will be. For originality, I'm going to give this film an 8. I thought it was a really original idea. Very interesting. And I think, of course, like it, you know, thanks to Paul Tremblay and his book, but they made a great, posed a really unique situation that we really haven't seen too much before. There is a film that I really want to say that is got some of the same kind of themes. I don't want to because it's a spoiler, but at the same time, even though it's got similar themes, it's not the same idea at all and not the same structure. And for scare, I'm gonna give it like a 4. I don't think it was a scary movie. It was very tense. There is some quite brutal scenes, but most of it's inferred. But I think that the way they infer it, again, gets in your head, psychological element. So I don't think it's scary, but it was a little bit disturbing. Anyway, I want to hear what you thought of this movie. I honestly didn't think it was like as bad as I expected it to be. I think a lot of people had got in my ear and said that they don't think I would like it. And I have to say, you're wrong. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good for what it was. I thought it's a very solid psychological horror movie. And thank God, M. Night, we're getting away slowly from that beach from Old, and I'm here for it. I want to hear what you guys think down below. Give me all your scores. Let me know if you want to know what the book is like, and maybe I'll make a video on that. And I'm gonna go start reading it now. So I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Stay spooky. Bye, friends.